Furniture stains. Furniture stains are difficult. Anybody here ever make the mistake of not properly putting tabs under furniture? Blot with Saf-T-Solv or Pro-Solve Liquid first in case if there's any oily material there. Normally I would have moved the chair, of course, but this is for picture purposes. Soaked it. Covered it with plastic. Now the problem, there's one problem with this picture. What's the problem with this picture? We have Saran Wrap in our kitchen. How professional does it look to be using Saran Wrap? And I'm pretty big on professionalism. No, you get some, like I said earlier, some small plexiglass pieces rolling around in your van, and then you would cover it with that. Use plexiglass instead. I pulled it back the morning. It was gone. No big deal. Well, the purpose of the plastic is to keep it from evaporating so rapidly. Furniture stain is more difficult. The stain magic would evaporate before it's finished the job. So by putting the plastic over it, it slows down the job. If this were in somebody's home, I would say tomorrow, be careful, but just take the plastic and set it aside. Or I'll come back tomorrow and we'll see how it is, but probably it's going to be gone. And stain magic evaporates, so it doesn't have to be rinsed out or anything. This one had only been there a couple of days, of course. If it's been there a long time, or his situation, I might have to use the steam iron, and there I'm going to have to be really careful. In the case of one place where a technician had failed to blacken, there's a rule about foil tabs, etc. You absolutely block and tab everything, no exceptions, period. Now, some people may say, "Oh, I don't need to put foil tabs under this table." Why would I do that? Well, looks like there's some bare steel down there. Bare steel plus water and oxygen equals rust. They'll use for example, Pro-Solve gel. If you smell it, you smell a D-limonene, citrus type of smell, like our old gel solve and our citrus APS and so forth. If you treat this spot, it's a real heavy piece of furniture and you're going to use foam blocks on it, that type of solvent dissolves foam blocks. So if any of that was left in there and you put foam blocks in there and you tell the customer, tomorrow you just can remove those. She gives you a call and you say, well, I removed the credenza and the foam block isn't going anywhere because it's glued to the carpet. You break it off and your citrus APS or whatever you were using will dissolve it. In the old days, D-limonene is an extraction of orange peels. The USDA worked with the farmers. The farmers were saying, you know what, we always end up with these orange peels and we have no use for them. And USDA worked and worked saying, okay, what can we put? And they discovered if you extract out this oil out of the orange peels, we got a great solvent that we can use for, and it smells good too. And it does work well. But and chemical distributors that started selling it, here's the demonstration they would do. They would take a coffee cup, a styrofoam coffee cup. They would put some of the spotter in here. "Sir, this is so strong it dissolves coffee cups." They would hold it over something because within about a minute, the bottom falls out of the coffee cup because it dissolves polystyrene foam. And what are your foam blocks made out of? Polystyrene foam. So just a word of caution, that might happen to you someday. May not have yet. Just be sure that if you're using a spotter like that you get all that stuff out of there or you're going to have trouble. Always tab and block everything, never an exception. I have a rule of thumb about furniture. Rule number one is you never drag furniture. You can distort the tufts, cause damage. If it's olefin, enough friction heat is created to permanently damage it. You just bought some carpet. You may have broken a chair leg or something like that in the process. You need to use the lift buddy to raise it all up. You need to use the Bane-Glides like these here. Lift up the furniture, put the furniture legs on these. Has a very slippery Teflon-like surface on the back. This way we can easily move the furniture when we're getting ready to clean and move it back, and it doesn't matter that the carpet is wet and we're not going to cause any kind of damage. And then the other rule of thumb I always have is we tab and block absolutely everything, whether it's wood, metal, or plastic. We tab and block. But we'll go through what these directions say. It says apply stain magic to the stained fibers, cover it with clear plastic sheet like sandwich wrap, Saran Wrap, allow 12 hours dwell time, in other words overnight. Severe stains may need to do it more than once. If it's not completely removed, mix up more stain magic and do it again. Let me tell you a little story about this. I think I mentioned earlier, I don't really like getting too involved with a service company because I have plenty to do already. But every now and then I'm called upon to take care of a problem. And I was told this day, Don, this particular consumer happens to be their house is on your way home. I live north of here in Indianapolis. I live in a little town called Noblesville. It's kind of a suburb and farming area. And there's a very wealthy area between here and where I live called Carmel. And I was told, well, the cleaner, who no longer works for us, the technician failed to tab and block and left some furniture stains. So I put my kit into the car, put my DCI light into the car, I put my tempo into the car, and I leave early and go up there to see. I'm assuming, of course, there's a couple of furniture stains, no big deal. Well, I arrive and I find a dining room table. It's huge. It has 3, 6, 7, it has 8 chairs. This is a dark cherry dining room set. 6 chairs times 4 is 24, plus 4 big legs of the table itself. I've got 28 furniture stains. So I take my stain magic, I mix up plenty, and I spray it down extremely heavily on all the stains. I put my Energizer light on the next to the worst one. That way I can, the worst one, I use the steam iron. I got it out pretty promptly. And by the time I worked on all the others with just lightly hitting it with the steam iron, by that time when I picked up the DCI light, that one was all gone, except for, to be honest with you, there was one particular tuft that still had a stain on it. So, Mrs. Smith, fortunately, or whatever her name was, I don't recall, it was a bi-level, but fortunately she was upstairs. I guess she had confidence. I like it a lot better when the consumer is not standing over my shoulder. Well, since she was upstairs, I simply took my duckbill shears, snipped off that tuft, put it into my pocket, called up to her to let her know that I was through. The police come down and check it out. I told her not to move the furniture back into place until tomorrow, so that we didn't have new problems, and I was through. That's all there was to it. That took care of it. Again, tab and block absolutely everything. And as far as I'm concerned, if you fail to do that, if you have a technician working for you and he fails to do that, he should be fired. It's a standard operating procedure. So how do we go about this? Well, first we clean the spot with Pro-Solve gel in case there's any kind of an oil-based contamination. Not usually needed, but now and then we've got a little bit of oil in with that. Apply the stain magic again and so forth. So I'd like to add a little bit of Pro-Solve gel if it's from Furniture Finish itself. If it's not, there's no oil involved, we can skip that step. Here's some slides from Pro's Choice on how to do this. Here they've left a furniture stain. They're just simply applying the stain magic very heavily to the stain, covering again with a clear sheet of plastic, and they're just going to leave it 8 hours. And you notice the stain then is gone. What I did myself so that we had something that you can actually see me removing a furniture stain, wouldn't you know it, don't have any furniture stains, so I had to create one. So I took in one of my offices, I took this piece of carpet here. You can see the picture in a second. I took my this piece of carpet. Again, this is that old junky carpet with no stain resistance. I absolutely soaked it with water, set down a piece of furniture on it with nice big wood legs on it so I could get a nice stain. Left it there over the weekend so that I have a nice stain from it, as you can see in this picture. So here's how we go about it. Let's take a look at this piece of carpet and let's get it rid of it. In this case, it's just strictly the stain itself. So we're going to thoroughly saturate the whole stain with the stain magic here. Again, I'm using the magic spray kit, saturating it. I just love the dual chamber spray kit. You notice it's disappearing very rapidly. It's not just because it's a little bit foamy. It's actually disappearing. But it's not going to all disappear. Now to show you how you use a steam iron. Again, I would not normally do this. I would use the Energizer light, but I want to show you. And we're in a hurry here today. I'm not going to keep you here all night long watching this. So we'll just use the steam iron, damp towel like we've been doing all along. Watch it real carefully. I'm going to bleach out that without hopefully bleaching out the carpet itself. And the stain is gone.